Hey folks, Dan O'Byrne here, and welcome to the Metabolic Motivation Vitality Show, where we talk about how you can look, feel, and perform your best using science-based strategies. Now, before we get deeper into that, I want to share with you about today's episode. I'm super excited. We're going to be talking about age management, which is how you can master your habits as well as your hormones so that you can age slower and maintain a high quality of life, a high amount of vitality despite aging. And this is important whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, or beyond. It's important to know that the way you live today, the lifestyle choices you make, are going to impact you in future decades, not just tomorrow. So keep in mind that although science is advancing, we have all these new medical treatments to keep people alive on machines, but that is not really what you and I are probably looking forward to, right? We want to be out there, when we're old, able to, to do whatever kind of physical adventures or mental adventures we're interested in. So we want to maintain cognitive health as well as physical health, emotional health, and have a lean, strong, flexible body. So without further ado, we're going to be talking to one of the world specialists who is an Ivy League educated doctor, Dr. Mike Carragher. He is the medical director of a Hollywood-based clinic, and we are going to be talking about how you can manage your hormones as well as manage your lifestyle and your habits. So this is all really important stuff. But now, one last thing I wanted to share with you. You may have noticed it's been a while since we took our break after our first season, and it's been longer than we expected. And the reason is you are now looking at a new parent, and my wife and I are the proud parents of a new wonderful son, very happy and healthy, but it definitely has taken us a lot more time than we expected to get back on track. And as you know, we also are partners in a luxury travel business that deals with Spain and Portugal, and that's been really busy. Thankfully the business is better than ever. But you can't keep going without sleeping, and so the show had to be put on hold for a little longer than normal. But now we're back on track, and glad to have you here as well. So let's go right into our interview with Dr. Mike Carragher. It's going to be 3 parts, so that they're bite-sized shows.
Thanks, Dan, for having me on. First off, it's a pleasure to be speaking with you again. And yeah, so I what I do is what I call age management medicine, and it is a term that sort of opposes anti-aging medicine, which is or anti-aging, which is sort of has a lot of kind of negative connotations to it, I think, and doesn't really accurately explain what I do, because it's really not anti-aging that we do. We're all aging, number one, and that's inevitable. But what we do at my practice, and where I focus on taking care of patients, is really optimizing their hormones, as well as teaching them a way to eat and teaching them a way to exercise, to keep their quality of life as high as possible as the years go by, right? So age management, is sometimes better explained as what it's not. It's not about making you live to be 120, 130, 140 years old. If that happens, great. But if you are going to live to be that old, you want to be out playing tennis, and being able to travel and spend time with your family and loved ones. So it's really about giving people the highest quality of life as they age, right? And so what that means is intervening in a way proactively, right, rather than reactively, by keeping hormone levels as optimal as possible to have people have better energy, better sleep, better strength, better overall mood and outlook on life, as well as decreasing their risk for chronic degenerative disease. So we're decreasing the risk for cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's disease, stroke, cancer, diabetes, and osteoporosis, which are the biggest killers of Westerners.
Right. Wow, it's quite an interesting way to look at it because we do hear so much about anti-aging, and I really like the way you have explained your concept of age management, and I think that helps a lot of people who probably think, they would think if I live to be 100 years old, I'm going to be suffering and I'm going to have no quality of life, and so they sort of just give up. And so what you're saying is that we might well live longer than normal, but it's important to maintain quality of life. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and the advances in Western medicine, or traditional Western medicine, we've got the technology to keep people breathing and keep their hearts pumping, right? And we can keep people alive for very long, but most of us, don't want to spend the last 20, 30 years of our lives, parked in a corner in a wheelchair, unable to really do the things that we love, and so,
oh yeah,
and so, by intervening in the way that we do, I feel like we give patients their best shot at maintaining the highest quality of life, so they've got great energy, great strength, as they age.
Right. Yes, so important. You mentioned hormone replacement. I think that's a part, certainly part of your practice. Is that right?
Yeah, it's really the cornerstone of what I do, And so, typically what happens, it happens. It's actually happening at younger and younger ages. Really, I have guys coming to see me in their late 20s now who are suffering from hormonal decline, and women the same. But typically as we age, the hormones that we like to be nice and high, are energy producing, fat burning, strength giving hormones, growth hormone, testosterone, thyroid hormone, DHEA, vitamin D, those levels start to go down. And the hormones that we like to be nice and low, which are typically the fat-storing hormones and the ones that make us feel tired, like insulin and cortisol, those start creeping up. And then as that happens, most of us start to see and feel the effects of aging. And so most people by their mid-30s already are suffering from hormonal decline that has manifested itself in symptoms, meaning either their energy levels have suffered, they're having a harder time keeping lean body mass on, they're putting fat on around the middle, their sex drive or sexual function has started to suffer, or their memory has started to suffer. And so what we do is we evaluate our patients for where these hormone levels are deficient, and then we restore their levels to more youthful levels. And as a result, not only does their quality of life improve, and their symptoms for the most part resolve, but they're like I said before, their risk for degenerative disease is significantly decreased.
Well, that is really important. So quality of life as well as preventing disease, and I think that's something we all should be very interested in. And let's talk about, if we can, some of your other, along with hormone replacement, what other strategies might a person avail of if they're working with you regarding age management?
Sure. Well, at my practice, we take a pretty comprehensive approach, which I think is what sets us apart from some other doctors who simply focus on hormone replacement, which is obviously extremely important. But our patients that do the best, and the patients who have the best outcomes, are the ones who also address nutrition, who also address exercise, who also address sleep, and they also address other lifestyle issues like stress and relationships, etc. So we have an on-staff nutritionist who teaches our nutritional paradigm. There are actually ways of eating that are supportive of healthy hormone levels, right? And there are ways of eating that are not supportive of healthy hormones. The same thing with exercise. There's ways of exercising that will increase hormone production and utilization by the body. And there are actually ways of exercising that decrease hormone production and utilization of the body. And so we educate our patients on the kind of exercise that they should be doing. sleep is another big issue, and then other lifestyle issues as well. Like I said, like, stress in the workplace. We're all encumbered by stress. It seems to be sort of unavoidable in our society these days. So it's not about getting rid of stress in people's lives as much as it is giving them ways to manage it.
Yes, by all means. Speaking of that, one of the things that I run into in that I've seen over the years, and it's become even worse, if anything, is the idea that we sort of give a medal, if you will, to ourselves if we're stressed. It's like we feel prideful and, oh, I'm so stressed and I only slept 5 hours and I can get by. Have you noticed that yourself, that lack of giving importance to that idea? It's a very Western idea. If we go to Asia, where I just came back from a trip a few weeks ago, and generally the focus is a little more enlightened on their side. Can you speak to that at all?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's funny when you say that. It reminds me of being in doing my pre-med studies and being in medical school, right? And it was like, you were right. We were proud that we only slept 2 hours the night before and we're still going, and it's interesting that you bring up sleep as the example, because it's the number one lifestyle recommendation that I give to my patients. Not only to have healthier hormone levels, but to give them more energy during the day and to lose weight, is to sleep more. I think that we suffer from chronic lack of sleep, chronic lack of quality sleep, overuse of sleep aids, so I try my very best to get a minimum of 8 hours per night. I'm a frequent napper. I love napping. As soon as I get home from work every day, I take a nice half-hour nap before my evening starts. It sort of recharges me.
Oh, good for you.
So I always encourage my patients. Yeah. Well, that being in Spain, of course, right? So
yeah. I need to, I need to do it more now that my wife and I actually. You asked me how I was doing, and actually, personally, I didn't mention we have a new arrival. We have a. Despite my advanced age, we were able to conceive a beautiful young boy after some trials and tribulations. But we did it all naturally, and it's wonderful. But it is a challenge for the sleep, and I'm availing of the siesta just about every day. So. Okay, so that wraps up our show with Dr. Mike, and we want to give him a big shout out and thanks for coming on the show. You can find him at his clinic, the Bodywell Clinic USA in Los Angeles, California. You can just Google that; it'll pop right up. Or you can also reach out to us, and we'll give you his information, which will be in the show notes as well. So, also wanted to mention a new thing we're going to be doing, which is a Q&A program, a Q&A show, and where I'm going to be answering the most popular questions related to exercise, nutrition, sleep hacking, and biohacking in general, so you can look, feel, and perform your best. And if you want to submit questions for consideration, what you need to do is get on our Facebook group. Just Google Metabolic Motivation on Facebook groups, and that'll pop up, and you can get hooked up with us there, and you can leave us your question there. Also, if you want to fast track your results and you feel like you want to get a really personalized, expert design program for you, your lifestyle, and your special needs, we do have a few spots for our VIP private coaching program. It is an 8-week accelerated program to reboot your metabolism and your lifestyle habits so that you can look, feel, and perform your best faster and maintain it. Okay, so it's all about sustainable, science-based programming. So check us out for any other thing online at our web, metabolicmotivation.com. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you'd like to share our program, we'll be ecstatic and appreciate that as well. So I look forward to seeing you in the future. Dan O'Byrne, over and out.